I know they gon' lean. World debut, I know they gon' fiend. Everything Mississippi to the Palm Springs. Girls from brunettes down to blonde queens. You know you like that. 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 You know you like that.
And welcome back to Memorial Stadium, where we have the season opener of Seattle Tempest and the Western Ultimate League inaugural game for the Oregon Soar. We are here. My name is Charlie Mercer.
And I'm Gwen Ambler.
And we are so stoked to be here in Seattle, where we have an amazing Ultimate game coming to you today. We are thinking about the Western Ultimate League this year. We already had our opening weekend. We had 2 great games going on. San Diego came out hot, defeated Arizona. We had a replay of the championship game against Colorado and Utah. Colorado came out again on top. The Western Ultimate League is shaping up to be really strong again this year, and we are so stoked to be part of that here in Seattle. We have the Oregon Soar as their first time joining the Western Ultimate League. They were previously part of the league as the Oregon Onyx, so there has been an Oregon presence before, but this Oregon Soar team is new. They are different. Let's take a look at that Oregon Soar roster. What are some of the players to watch that you're seeing, Gwen?
Well, I think first and foremost, I would be looking at Kimber Cole.
Let's take a look at the Oregon Soar roster. Looks like we're going to take a look at the There we go.
Okay, great. So Kimber Coles is a longtime veteran player, and she actually was on the version from Oregon in the WL a couple years ago, the Oregon Onyx. She's a fast receiver who's really dynamic and tough to cover in small spaces. I'm also really excited to see Ren Vogel on the field out here. They actually had a presence in the Premier Ultimate League previously, playing for Texas Torch, and are joining Oregon Soar all the way from out of state. They live in Denver right now and have commuted to most practice weekends. I'm also really excited to see Raina Kamrat. She is also a veteran Oregon Portland player and is a really dynamic goal scorer, one of their captains as well.
I am so stoked about Helen Burris, who is Lou Burris's daughter, is a high school player and was here in Seattle playing at the Seattle Invite, which is like a top-notch high school ultimate tournament, and showed up at the field in her cleats, having just played a game, so has already played a day of a tournament and is here to show up and ball out. It's going to be so great. Taking a look at this Tempest roster, who are some players that you are excited to watch at this Tempest roster?
Well, I think Cheryl Sue has become a household name to people watching Seattle Ultimate, and she is just such a dynamic handler, will be really leading Tempest offense. So definitely keep an eye out for her. I'm also really excited to see Drea Baroma, another of their team captains, who actually led the team in their plus-minus stats last year, is just a fantastic all-around impact player on the field. But also making a reappearance in the WL is Jamie Erickson, who had played for Tempest back in 2023 and is now back and is just a physical, huge presence.
When I think about the stories of these teams, I think that this coming back to the program is something that we see on both sides. So we have players on Tempest that had to take a year away that are coming back. We have, on this Tempest roster, Lexi Garrity sat out the 2024 season, is back. Jamie Erickson was on the East Coast, is back, right?
Yeah, Linnea Sue is another player in that category, yeah.
Future, Alexa Ramirza, another player right? Coming back to this Tempest team and that longevity, that experience, that allegiance to the community to be able to come back in and be wrapped back into this program, I think is really special. And I think it's something that we're going to see on both sides today. So I think Oregon also, as this new program to the WL, is bringing in a lot of players who have played together in other venues, whether that's in the WL or in college or in the cities that they reside in. And I think something that's special about the Oregon Soar, right? If you think about their names, Oregon Soar is named for the entirety of the state, and they're really working to represent the entirety of the state. But if you think about Seattle Tempest, it's named for the city, where it's not Washington Tempest, it's not representing the whole state, it is really focused on that locality. And so I think that Oregon Soar is going to be able to bring in players, right? They have players in Corvallis and in Eugene and in Bend and in Portland. And so there's a lot of that representation. And so you have players that played on the Onyx that are coming back and playing with Soar, but you also have so many new players.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the new players coming together on this team also have experience playing together in college, whether it's from multiple players from Lewis and Clark and a large contingent from the University of Oregon down in Eugene. I mean, I think that there's a core on this team that are come out of that Fugue program, and not just on the roster, but also the coaching staff. All three coaches for Oregon Soar, Chelsea Putnam, Jody DeZono, and Morgan, are all from that program, actually in 3 different generations. I don't think any of them actually overlapped with each other at Oregon, and I think it represents the longevity of that program and how much continuity those players coming out of that have and bring together and can rely on now.
We see Chelsea Putnam on screen. My favorite fact about Chelsea as a coach is that Chelsea refers to the players mostly as rock stars. And I think that sets the tone for what we can expect from this team, right? Soar is out here to soar, right? They are here to create a culture of supportiveness and collaboration and unity and really bringing together the entirety of the state and all of those different perspectives and experiences that you were just talking about. And I think that Chelsea really embodies that as a coach, and I'm really looking forward to having that as we go through this game and seeing how this plays out.
Yeah, I mean, something that's just so amazing about Chelsea is the energy she brings. And I mean, she is a Hall of Fame Ultimate player, as is her co-coach Jody DeZono, and
as are you.
As is Deb Scheibe leading the Tempest. But Chelsea's hallmark as a player was just an amazing energy and enthusiasm and confidence in herself and her teammates, and she brings that as well as a coach, really picking up her team and imbuing in them in just a sense of unshakable belief.
We see both teams that are taking the field as our game is about to get underway. Thinking about some of our WL rules, we do have 4 12-minute quarters. We will have 2 minutes between each of those quarters, and then we will have a 10-minute halftime after the second quarter. Important rules to highlight about the WL: it is a self-officiated game. The observers are there to make a ruling if the players go to them. They will make active rulings on in, out, and up, down calls. Otherwise, players are calling fouls, whatnot, as of themselves, really focusing on that spirit of the game. Stall count is 7 seconds, and end of quarter, you get to keep possession after time expires. Once that possession is over, that would be when the end of quarter happens. We'll come back to that at the end of quarter. Other rule to think about is that 4-second pre-stall coming in off of a stopped disc. So those are some of our rules as we start to think about our WL rule set getting started here. We have Oregon Soar getting ready for their first pull ever in the Western Ultimate League. Seattle Tempest is receiving. We get our first look at the Seattle Tempest O-line. This 80-yard field makes those deep pulls really advantageous. We are centering to Alexa Kirkland, who's throwing it around. Player to watch, Drea Baroma, picking it up. Inakushi with the execution error gives Oregon Soar their first opportunity of the game. Inakushi, fire in their heart. Hitting back, gets that block. Able to run it down the field. Tempest on the doorstep. Tempest has been known for running sort of a 3-on-3 handler set. And that is Drea Baroma into the end zone from Alexa Kirkland for our first score of the game. It was a dirty hold, but it was a hold.
Yeah, I mean, both of those turnovers, I would say, were really just unforced errors and probably a little bit of nerves of, the very first point of the season.
So you're not going to give Koshi credit for that, Dee?
I mean,
okay,
yeah, well,
you're right. You're right. On the replay, you're right.
Sometimes, you got to make the play that comes to you, right? So, yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I think for both teams to have a chance to settle down. We'll see how the rest of this quarter plays out. But I think that, it was nice to see Tempest recover from that turnover and really moving the disc quickly, which I think is one of their hallmarks to their offense.
Something to keep an eye on, and you can start to see it on the screen, is this light and dark play. So one of the features or bugs about Memorial Stadium, depending on your perspective, is that you have the trees in one of the end zones, and so as the sun is setting, that the shade and the shadows come in. So you're looking straight into the sun, and then as the game continues, more of the field is covered in shadows, and so it does mess with both the light and also with the construction of the stadium, messes with the wind. And so often early on in games played at Memorial Stadium, we do see some bumpiness, and we see the disc kind of taking some weird turns as players are starting to get used to that swirliness. And I think, already you can see the disc having a few extra bounces in the air as we see Soar working it across the field. We got our first big look, sending it downfield. Amazing
What a grab.
Yeah, amazing grab. And that is our first score.
That was Kimber Coles who caught the goal for that, or who made that deep cut and caught the grab, also caught the goal. So fast, so explosive out there in those pink cleats, and really, putting the pressure on Tempest right away. I think it was really interesting actually seeing that point where Sadie Jezerski's pull really, and their D getting down off the pull, really trapped Oregon in that corner. And I mean, almost got a stall out of it with defensive pressure right off the bat. And things only really opened up for that Huck once they broke it off the sideline and had the full width of the field to work with.
Kimber Coles, you see the camera on them now, just already highlighted as one of those players to watch in the game, one of the players that has been such a consistent part of what professional ultimate is looking like in Oregon, whether that was as the Portland Swifts or as the Oregon Onyx, and is such a strong asset. And that is such an incredible pull